Hi there, Terry back again. Hope I find you well. Welcome to my latest video. And I'm just taking the Superman ones off the nice coloured shelves now. Got them nearly all in year order. And we're doing 1970 today, which is Superman 222 to 231. So, there we go. Let's get started. Well, these following issues are the last before the major change made to Superman. The biggest change since he started to fly, rather than jump an eighth of a mile. Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know in the comments. So, we will have Action 1970 soon, but as I said, this is Superman issues 1970. And we start with number 222. And I've just noticed on the back, this is part of the Jerome Wenker, that's Wenker, W-E-N-K-E-R, collection. This is the Certificate of Authenticity. I must be honest, I don't know who he is. I hadn't even noticed this at the back. But anyway, funnily enough, I bought it from a person called Terry. Terry O'Neill. There you go. Anyway, 222, January cover date. It actually published in October 69, but it had the Jan cover date. And also, long gone, the 80-page giant. I think there's about 64 pages in these ones now. 4 stories: Superman's Lost Brother from Superman number 80, January 53. Superman 165, November 63, The Sweetheart Superman Forgot. Superman 166, January 64, The Fantastic Story of Superman's Sons. Take 2. The fourth and last story comes from Superboy number 36 from October 54. Superboy's sister. Lana Lang's parents are reported dead, so Lana moves in with the Kents, putting a crimp in Superboy's operations. Next is also January cover date. Kurt Swan with the cover. And just the one story, Half a Hero. It's written by Cary Bates, pencils and inks by Kurt Swan and George Roussos. The 3 girls on the cover are a disguised Supergirl, along with 2 Kandorians. There's been a threat to Kandor where it's possible that all Kandorians could die. The 3 girls, calling themselves the Galactons, trick Superman to believing he will die if he doesn't stay within Earth's solar system. They believe if he finds out the threat to Kandor, he will join them and probably die with them. But he does find out, and using the aid of a Phantom Zone villain, he is very inventive in his solution to stop disaster occurring. Then we have 224, February cover date. Kurt Swan and Jack Abel with the cover this time. And this issue is written by Robert Kanigher. And it's Beware the Super Genius Baby. Kurt Swan and George Roussos do the art. This was classed as an imaginary story outside the regular continuity. It was, of course, retconned and happened in Earth 224. I wonder where they got that number from. And then we have 225, April cover date. Kurt Swan with the cover. Secret of the Superman Imposter. Leo Dorfman writes, and pencil and inks by Kurt Swan and George Roussos. An alien scientist creates a double of Superman who lacks the Man of Steel's powers, but whose physical sensations, including pain, are transmitted to Superman himself. Excuse my fingers. We have 226. 226 May cover date. Kurt Swan with the art. Couple of stories, first by Leo Dorfman. The cover story, When Superman Was King Kong, art Kurt Swan and George Roussos. This one we have Red Kryptonite and the King Kong movie, sort of. And then from Bob Haney we have Uncle Sam's Prize Prisoner. Kurt and George still with art duties. Clark Kent gets an interview with the scientist Dr. Carl Cathcart, who dies during the session and passes on the key formula of his last invention to him. As a result, Clark is given a 24-hour armed guard, which impedes somewhat his heroic duties. He is then later captured by enemy agents who want the secret. 227, July cover date. Kurt Swan, Murphy Anderson and Gaspar Saladino doing the art. Another annual containing 5 reprints this time. All the stories to do with kryptonite. Only one I've not covered in my videos. A story from Superboy number 58, July 1957. It was written by Jerry Coleman. Kurt Swan and Ray Burnley did the art. The title, The Great Kryptonite Mystery. Superboy builds up his immunity to certain kryptonite chunks through repeated exposure so that he may use them against Kryptonian criminals in the future. And then we have 228, July cover date, cover by Kurt Swan. 2 new stories, The Mystery Bombers, by Bob Haney, art Kurt Swan and George Roussos. 2 slave programmers from space impersonate Earth people and conduct a bombing campaign as part of a gimmick to siphon off knowledge from Superman. That's nice. And then we have Execution Planet, written by Leo Dorfman, Kurt and George still yet with the art. After Superman inexplicably loses his powers, the anti-Superman gang auction off his costume and send him in a rocket to the Execution Planet. August 1970, Kurt Swan cover number 227. And we continue from last issue. The last story we have, the ex-Superman, Leo Dorfman, continuing his story, and ditto for the artists. When he lands on this execution planet called Morgu, he manages to evade the executioners, and, as you see by the cover, he becomes a hero, despite lack of powers. Supergirl arrives, letting Superman know that his costume was dusted by a red kryptonite-like dust, which he had an allergic reaction to. Hence, no powers. Once his uniform was cleaned, his powers returned. Conveniently, the Morgu executioners did themselves in for failing to kill Superman. And the second story, another kryptonite story, and it rounds out the issue. Clark Kent, Assassin, again written by Leo Dorfman. Art this time by Wayne Boring. This time, exposure to a red kryptonite-like substance causes Clark to repeatedly try to kill Perry White. So there must be easier ways to get a pay rise. Number 230, October cover date. Another Kurt Swan cover. 2-part story continuing into number 231. Carrie Bates writer, Kurt Swan, Dan Adkins with the art. An imaginary tale, twisting the Superman story quite a bit. Firstly, Jor-El destroys Krypton. His wife Lara dies and he goes mad. He takes his son Lex-El away to Earth, hoping for superpowers. Jonathan and Martha Kent are notorious bank robbers, and to make sure their son Clark becomes as bad as them, they hire a scientist to invent a chronal stimulant that ensures their wishes happen. And as you see by the cover, roles are down. I did that bit, I forgot. And as you see by the cover, roles are definitely reversed. And this story continues 231. And this was a November cover date. You can barely see November, but there you go. And Kurt Swan cover, Carrie Bates writes, and Kurt Swan and Dad Adkins with the internal art. And this part was entitled The Wheel of Super Fortune. And of course, this story now happened on Earth 230. There was also a reprinted story in this issue from Superman 112, March 1957, Superman's fatal costume. And I obviously covered in my Superman, well, that was the first one I ever did, 1957, yeah, first when I showed my face. And talking of reprints, published in October 70, but it has a January 71 cover date. 4 more older tales. Just want to use this one so that 233 can have a nice clean sweep when I do that. Cover by Kurt Swan, Murphy Anderson and Jack Pedler with Gaspar Saladino. And we have from Superman 141, November 1960, Return to Krypton. Father's Day on Planet Krypton from Adventure Comics 313, October 63. Then from Superman 164, October 63, The Fugitive from the Planet Zone. Yeah, that's what it said. And lastly, The Wizard City from Adventure Comics 216, September 1955. Right, that's it for another Superman video. Hope you liked it. Thumbs up if you don't mind. And a comment, please. I'd love to comment in on comments. And if it's your thing, subscribe. I'll bring the action installment soon. I'm hoping to do a Batman before that, so that hopefully will be out on Friday. Because hopefully this one is out on Tuesday. Because on Friday I'll be wending my way to Thought Bubble. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.